Hi everyone, welcome to our conference. So today we're going to talk about awareness and mindfulness in the Mysore Class. So as you may know, one of the things that work in our yoga practice is to be more aware of ourselves. So today we're going to start from the basics. So we're going to start talking about how to be aware and mindful during your practice at Mysore Room. Okay, so all that starts even before you enter the room. When you approach the shala, you should be aware that even if the door is closed, people are practicing inside in silence and they still can hear you. So try to calm down when you start approaching the shala, and then enter silent and be ready to start your yoga practice even before you go in the room.
If you arrive at the door of the class and if you can hear inside that the opening mantra has started, best to just wait at the door. It can be a little bit disruptive to have the whole class chanting and people walking in and out as that happens. So take a moment, wait until you hear it's over, and then enter. But if you are already in the room, perhaps doing something or getting ready but not yet on your practice space, if the mantra has started, stop everything you're doing, put it down, face the teachers, wherever it is you are positioned in the shala, and join in from the start to the end. This is a rare occasion anyway, because we try and always to coordinate everyone to be on the mats before we actually start the opening mantra. But in the event of, stop everything you're doing, face us, and join.
Then, as you enter and leave the room, make sure you acknowledge the space and acknowledge the teachers. We do all that we can to bring something positive to your life. So, good morning. Have a good day. It would be nice. It's something that we would appreciate, and they should make part also of your yoga practice. After that, normally you pick up your mat from the storage room. Be aware how to unroll the mat. Okay, sometimes it happens that we just without wanting, we just throw the mat to the floor, and the mats are heavy. And there's a huge sound on the floor. That happens many times. So just place the mat on the floor and then roll the mat silently.
I think that's the meaning, I guess, of being mindful and aware, is to have complete control of your actions and what you do. Yes, and unrolling one of the mats and unrolling both ways is something you should know how to do as a yoga practitioner with awareness. In addition to that, especially in a Mysore class where people are practicing quite close, but more importantly, the teachers are maneuvering around tight mat spaces, it's important not to have anything around your mat that you don't need. You definitely don't need a phone, but more importantly, things that we could step on and break. We don't want to break your glasses, your screen phones. We also don't want to bleed to death. So make sure definitely you don't have anything made of glass, whether it's jewelry, glasses, fancy phones. Keep them all in the locker. Not only for us, but there's also practitioners that do things that require maybe jumping, etc. You don't want to have anyone bleeding in the practice because of that. In addition, as a yoga practice, not only Ashtanga or Mysore, whatever, the whole premise of yoga is to learn all the skills of focus. We don't want any distractions. Everything that we're teaching in the class is to help you gain the skill of focus. Whether it's smartphones that tell you your emails or your actual phone blinking or vibrating, it can be very distracting for yourself and for the people around you, and it goes against everything that's trying to be taught in the room. So please leave all of that stuff in the locker.
And now that you are on top of your mat, the awareness has to continue. So you know that you have a rectangle, that is your mat, and that should be your practice space. Okay, so be aware when you do a posture that you need to move out of your practice space. Be aware of the person next to you. Okay, this is the same as driving. There is priorities. You have to be aware of the space of others. in the shala is the same thing. So if you have to move your leg to the side, make sure you wait until the person next to you gives you space to do that. And like that, we are not hitting each other with a leg. And a common one is when you roll back from your mat, from a posture, or lying down and you have to roll back, chakrasana. And sometimes it happens that the feet go over your mat and even inside of someone's mat, and that can be sometimes even dangerous. You can hit someone's face, or can be just annoying. After a while, people try to be very polite, but after a while can be annoying when you practice next to a person that doesn't care if they invade your mat or not. It's like being alone in the world. So that's one thing that you should always be aware when you practice, how you move your arms, how you move the leg. And it would be very helpful if everyone will have that awareness.
Yeah, I think the longer you practice, the more you should be able to stay on your mat and you have control of your body. We always use the example of our friend Tarek, who's like 6'5" and a master at not touching anyone right next to him. So Tarek, you set a great example for that.
Yeah.
Did you want to mention anything about the lead class?
Also in the lead class, I don't know if sometimes you hear us saying the person on your right, the person more to the right will move forward, and after that one forward, one back, one forward, one back. That's exactly because of that. In the lead class, everybody's doing the same posture at the same time. So if that doesn't happen, it's impossible to manage space. Okay, so in the lead class, normally the person more on the right, as a rule, will move forward, and then the other one to the back, the other one to forward, and like that we can organize the space much better. Okay.
Because everything in the asana practice is right side first anyway, so that there's a system. And if you're turning to the right, that's who you're going to see. So therefore, you're not going to follow what you can't see behind you. You're going to follow what you can see. Therefore, logically, the person on the right has the priority position, and everyone staggers accordingly. This is physical management of space and invasion physically of space, but you can also invade someone's space energetically. A good thing to try to avoid doing, I know it's hard and it happens all the time, but if possible, try not to stare at someone practice. There's a lot of people doing different things, even though it's the same sequence, everyone's at different places. But the thing is, everyone is struggling to the level that they need to be struggling, even if it's a different physical outlook. So don't stare at someone's practice. It can be a little bit uncomfortable. You get a little self-conscious and distracted. But in addition to that, sometimes it can be also very, very tempting. If you are watching someone practice, which you shouldn't be anyway, you can see someone, they're almost getting that bind or that Marichasana is 2 inches. You just want to have this urge to lean over and help them. Better not. Actually, please don't. Focus on your practice. Come back to your body. Don't worry about what's happening around you. It is also not a very safe thing to do, because from where you sit, perhaps the bigger perspective from what is going on outside your mat is not there. Someone might be not ready for a push, or not pushed into something for that day for a reason. Or left alone to work hard on something for that reason, but leave that to us. Don't worry. I know it comes from a good place, but best not to touch anyone in the room. Come back to your focus, because that's the whole thing that you're trying to learn on the mat anyway. So no teaching of other people around you, or adjusting of other people around you, unless you are requested to do so, please.
And now talking about we're going to talk about a little bit about sweaty towels. I can talk about that myself, because I sweat a lot during my practice. Basically, when I finish my practice, everything is completely wet, from the yoga towel, from my shorts, from the towel, from the hand towel.
He's a swimming pool.
So it's important to keep that again in your practice space. Okay, don't use the towel for a posture and then throw the towel to the side on top of someone's mat, Also, if you sweat a lot, don't move your arms and throw sweat to others. That happens with me a lot. She gets very annoyed. So also be aware of that, okay? You should keep your mat towel on the back of your mat if you're not using, and then on the top, and your hand towel folded on the top corner of your mat, to organize better space, and also to don't bother others with your sweaty towels. Okay, very simple, very helpful.
Just now I was mentioning a little bit about this entire practice is based on working hard on trying to gain strength in controlling focus within yourself and within your own body and on your mat. Therefore, if you are struggling on something, try it a couple of times. There's never really a need to ask for assistance or adjustment in something you're struggling with. It's more important that you try it a couple of times. Having said that, if you really need to call someone over, or you need to say something at that moment in the middle of your practice, sit there patiently, try and catch the eye of one of the teachers or one of us to come over. If it's really burning and urgent and important, you can always stand up and come to the back of the room, or where we are, if we're adjusting someone, wait at the back of the room to speak to us. Anything that you really want to say, usually you can say it before you start practice. And if you still feel that you want to mention or discuss something, after your practice. But there is really no need ever to wave someone or shout for your teacher to come over. Definitely don't shout over all the silent practicing bodies that are in moving meditation for obvious reasons, but waving someone over to help you do your asana, it's also good practice to realize that is not only not so polite, because we're a place of education, not a place of service, but there's really no need, because it's good to not always expect help in an asana. If you are unable to do it without help, it means you should spend some time working on it, right? Don't straight away go immediately for help to get you into things. Try first, try a few times. If you find that after 3 times you still have the energy to want another round of help and we've not reached you yet, then wait patiently. Again, try and catch our eyes.
Some things you see happening in the shala, and then we end up to do it we don't know the reason, okay? So sometimes we just copy others, and one of the things is when you rest. So why sometimes we change, we position our body in a different way when you rest. I'm talking about facing the feet one way or facing the feet another way. Okay, so sometimes we just do that because we were in a class and everybody did it, so I do it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain why, and also explain why also sometimes we say it in the room. So just for a matter of respect. Okay, so just for a matter of respect for the teacher, when you rest you shouldn't face your feet to the teacher, or if there is any pictures or any pictures of the teachers of the lineage of this method, we shouldn't face our feet that way. Okay, so this started, I think, in Mysore. It's a huge shala, and in the front there is a stage. In the stage there is a huge picture of Guruji with a chair that in these days our teacher Sharat he sits on. So when we finish LED, everyone turns around, so the feet face the end of the room and the head faces the teacher. So from the Indian culture, is always not a good sign of respect to face your feet to any source of knowledge. Even when you, I don't know, when I start learning the flute, I didn't continue, I was not that good, but for the first 3 trips I started learning the flute, and sometimes I would be very tired in the class, and I would straighten my legs and put the flute in front and put my feet facing the flute. He would get very upset, and then of course I stopped doing. So cross the legs, place the flute. It's just very simple, and I think it's very easy to understand. So sometimes when you are in the part of the shala in Mysore Room that have the wall with the pictures of our teachers, we always ask you to turn around. Okay, so turn around because of that. Also, you shouldn't use that wall to do any kind of postures. Like, you shouldn't use that wall to do a shoulder stand, placing the foot on the wall, or headstand, just because of that. It's always good to understand. We encourage people, if you don't understand, come and ask, we will explain you. Of course, we cannot explain all the time, so now it's said. Very simple. So if you are willing to do that, we would appreciate.
Once you finish on your mat, and you're maneuvering around the room, going to the showers or into the lockers and changing area, sadly we don't have this facility, but it's not a difficult thing to manage. I'm guilty of this many times myself. But our doors don't have an automatic soft close within the space. So just be mindful and in control when you're opening and closing doors within the room. When your practice finishes, it doesn't mean everyone else's has. There are still people practicing or resting. It's easy to forget that. We finished, okay, now we're in a hurry and we need to go. And there's a lot of ping pong, and the doors are closing and slamming everywhere. Easy to control, just as with your control of your body on your mat. Control anything that you touch, whether it's a door handle, close it with mindfulness, walk around with mindfulness silently. If you're walking around with your mat, try not to slap anyone in the face with it as you
Cleaning
walk past
the floor.
them. As you drag it past. So close doors, control silently, generally move with control silently throughout the space.
Also regarding the end of your practice, when you need to clean your mat, even if it's your mat, of course you should clean it, but we always request for the mat that we provide for the students to be cleaned. Just be aware where you clean it. So we always ask you to go outside and spray outside because of the noise and also because of the smell. So just don't bring the spray inside and spray the mat next to someone resting. The spray has vinegar, tea tree oil and water, so it's very good to clean, but it's not so pleasant to be smelling, and it can also be quite annoying, the sound. Okay, so we ask you to finish your practice, take your mat outside, clean it, leave it to dry a little bit. When you finish getting ready, go outside, wipe it, roll it, and place again on the rack. Okay.
And once you're done with practice and everything, for two reasons. Be mindful of the time you're in the shower. There is a peak time, of course, and you will know when that is. Even though if you enter the shower and there's nobody waiting, sometimes if you take a little long, there will be a line accumulated at those times. It is also good to be quick in the shower, to be a little bit more environmental, and in these days especially, in order to be environmental, it all starts with cultivating this mindfulness and awareness in our behavior. So please don't take too long in the shower. If you need to do makeup and things like that, there's another area for you to do that outside, so that someone else can go in and to use the shower, and that can happen a little bit speedier when people need to go to work. But that's all I can think about now. Is
being aware.
Yeah.
So it's, as you see, it's quite simple. It's just some simple rules. We are not that strict. It's something that everyone can do, and it starts from there. If you start being aware with the small things like this in the shala, then maybe during your day you're also going to be aware about other small things, and then in the end of the day we're going to basically be more aware of ourselves, more respectful of the environment that we share with others, and that's something that is completely related to yoga. Okay, if the basic stuff is not there, it's very difficult to be aware of other actions that we take.
There's a famous saying recently, which I think, I'm not sure where it started, but maybe from Sharat Joyce, our teacher, that yoga is 24 hours. So you are doing physical asana practice on the mat for an hour and a half, maybe two, but that yoga practice or that asana practice shouldn't be where it's limited. Yoga is still outside of asana, whether it's on the mat, off the mat, or even out of the classroom, inshallah. So these are integrating all those aspects because it's important. It makes part of the practice. We had a question, which I will answer because it's a bit more female related. The first question was, why do we not practice when we're on Our Lady's holiday? And the second question was, what postures should we not practice on Our Lady's holiday? So I'm just gonna combine those two into one because they kind of self-cancel each other out. So for any of you that just joined us in practice and are not sure of this term, Ladies' Holiday is the beginning of your menstrual cycle, where you take a holiday from your Ashtanga practice, especially if you are a daily practitioner. This is very important because when you're practicing every day, you're using your whole body. It's a full functional movement in this practice. So it's important to respect the body. It's a time of rest. Your body is being used energetically and physically for other areas that it requires attention. You need to relax the central area of your body for it to happen naturally, your cycles to happen naturally. So it is important to not only just take a break from the whole practice, okay? So don't even practice and just avoid the inversions. Don't practice at all during this time. Anywhere between the first 3, 4, or 5 days, depending on every woman. There's no set day. You will know which is the bulk of your cycle that that everyone has. So we always say 3 minimum, but that's really up to you and according to what your needs are during this time. It's also good to learn to not get so attached to the asana practice that you're clung onto it so hard that you forget to respect your own body. So this is quite important. And the reason why no practice at all in this time, as opposed to continue practicing, just don't do inversions, which I hear a lot from, I think this comes from other sources and other styles. The reason being because in Ashtanga, you are using this area from the get-go. From the start, from your sun salutations, you are engaging or looking to engage your core, your abdomen. There's already twisting and compression in forward bending, and there's a lot of movement in there. There's a lot of drawing in of your belly from the start. So you're already disrupting that area from the beginning and not just at the end in inversions. So I personally don't really see the point in that, because you would have done 1 hour of disruption and then you're avoiding just being upside down. Not so logical in my view of the practice. Don't practice at all. If you are coming towards the end of your cycle, do a gentle practice. If it's already your 6th, 7th day or 5th day, even do a gentle practice. Be easy on yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable doing anything upside down at the end, go ahead, you can skip that out. But it is very important to not do anything at all in the beginning. Okay? I hope that answers the question.
I think so. Quite clear, and again, very simple. So this was our conference for today. We just want to say that thank you very much for all the interest that come for our retreat that will happen in Vietnam in March 2020, next year. So thank you for all the people that come with inquiries and show a lot of interest through our Facebook page event. So we're gonna start accepting bookings this month on June. So if you wanna finalize your booking, you can send us an email, or if you have any other inquiries, also we can keep continues contacting us, and we will update more pictures. This is our cat. I don't know if you can see. I show you. He's a bit naughty.
You had the dog the last time, and now it's the cat, Pebble.
Pebble.
Oh.
See, you want to say hi?
Okay.
Pebble. Anyway, keep visiting our page. We will keep updating more pictures, and that's it. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy it, and see you soon. See you tomorrow for class, or for the next conference.
Bye
guys. Have a great day.